Good evening. You're watching Hungary Reports, kicking off public media and one's foreign language news hour. I'm Orsi Eflon. Thanks for joining us. Prime Minister Viktor Orbán informed the Speaker of the Parliament about the results of the 5-point parliamentary mandate for the EU summit in July. In a detailed letter to László Kövér, the Prime Minister wrote, among others, that the first two objectives had been reached and that there weren't any obstacles to terminating the Article 7 procedure. In addition, important steps forward were managed to be taken to exclude linking financial resources to political criteria. However, Hungary has not yet achieved its goal of abolishing support for political organizations that present themselves as parties and civilians. In his letter, the PM suggests that the Parliament discuss during the ratification of the EU agreement whether the achieved outcomes are compliant enough for them to be supported by the Hungarian legislation. After the violent burglary attempts last week, there was no peace at the borders of Hungary over the weekend either. Police officers took action against 131 immigrants from Friday to Sunday. The chief security advisor to the Prime Minister warns that the risk of coronavirus infection due to the masses of migrants is increasing.
The migrants did not even try to hide in the backseat of this car, which was stopped near GYÖR. 5 illegal immigrants were traveling in the vehicle, one of them in the trunk, but he was easily caught by the police as well. The group of migrants was apprehended early Monday morning. The car was driven by an Afghan man who had got a card that showed his refugee status in Austria. Since the passengers were not able to prove their identity, proceedings have been initiated against the driver for human trafficking, and illegal migrants were escorted back to the security border by the police. This photo was made public by the Romanian border police. A group of 12 men claiming Syrian nationality was arrested near Arad, on the Hungarian side of the border. The migrants didn't get far. They had only done 1 mile when they were apprehended. A total of 39 illegal migrants were caught by the police at the Romanian border over the weekend. 362 people attempted to enter Hungary last week. 1/3 of the attempters have tried to cross the border in the last 3 days. The Hungarian police officers had to take action against 131 border violators from Friday to Sunday. Violent burglary attempts have risen due to the increase of migratory pressure. Reception centers in the countries of the Balkan route have been closed so far during a state of emergency due to the novel coronavirus. However, since the opening of the transit centers, pressure has redeveloped on the border of the EU, the chief security advisor to the Prime Minister said. György added that a great number of people are tested positive for coronavirus among the migrants who undergo the PCR test. Security would therefore only be achieved if the illegal immigrants were stopped at the EU's external borders or even further away.
We have reached the threshold of the second wave of the novel coronavirus pandemic, the rector of Semmelweis University said in an interview to N1 News. The registered infections went up by 35 on Sunday, and there were 4 times as many new cases over the weekend as a week earlier, which shows an upward trend. The Minister of Human Resources emphasized that the virus could only be kept under control if the citizens followed the precautions.
Air is being cleaned by an ozone generator in the community center of Híradó. They hold private events regularly in the municipal building. There was a birthday celebration on the 1st of August with almost 60 guests. One of them has since been found to be infected by the novel coronavirus. The man under 30 already felt unwell during the party. He experienced the typical symptoms of the infection. A couple of days later, the test showed COVID-19. So far, 2 of the guests have been tested positive and 17 are in quarantine. However, many of the participants came from different counties, therefore the contact detection is still ongoing. In an interview, the mayor told N1 News that they would do everything to prevent Újfehértó and its neighborhood from becoming a hotspot of the virus.
Ezen a hétvégén.
The number of new cases are growing throughout Europe, so it's a miracle that there have been only a few newly diagnosed patients in Hungary. This is what the rector of Semmelweis University noted. In addition, Béla Merkeli highlighted that it's hard to keep the numbers from growing because of people traveling a lot.
A vírus cirkulál.
The virus in Hungary is circulating in the households, therefore it's crucial to be cautious to prevent the number of cases from increasing, the rector said. Based on wastewater data, the number of the coronavirus genetic material is growing slightly in Budapest and Debrecen as well. Experts say this can project that the number of cases could grow within the next couple of days. According to Monday morning data, the number of registered coronavirus infections in Hungary has increased by 35 within a 24-hour period. 3 chronically ill patients passed away, bringing the number of fatalities to 605. There are currently 601 active infections and 61 patients are being treated in hospitals for COVID-19, 6 of whom are on ventilator.
The Ministry of Health of Ukraine has updated the list of countries classified as risk regarding coronavirus infections. As a result, Hungary has been reclassified from red and got a green status again. This means that those traveling to Ukraine from Hungary do not have to stay in quarantine or show a proof of a negative COVID-19 test. At the same time, Hungary still keeps Ukraine in the red category, as the number of new infections per day in a country is over 1,000 and the number of fatalities has already reached some 1,900. The injured victims on a bus accident have left Hungary for home. Last Sunday morning, a Polish bus skidded off motorway M5 in Bács-Kiskun County and turned into the roadside ditch due to yet unknown circumstances. One passenger died in the accident and another 34 got injured, including the 2 bus drivers. They were taken to 4 hospitals. 24 injured were treated in Kiskunhalas. On Monday, all but 2 women were taken home. The musical about Ferenc Puskás will be presented on the 20th of August at the RECLASSIFIED Theatre. The story tells the life of Ferenc Puskás from the age of 10 until the 1960 European Champion Clubs Cup final. The main role is played by Tamás Vereb. The musical was directed by Vojk Szente. The main rehearsal of the performance will be held on the 19th of August. Those working in the hospitals of Budapest can see the musical free of charge and by prior arrangement in return for their steadfastness during the coronavirus pandemic.
This is how one of the defining melodies sound from the first act of the Puskás musical. 22 actors, 60 dancers, and 30 child actors perform in the play. The multi-act play honorably presents the era, the life of Ferenc Puskás and the Golden Team. Ferenc Puskás is a legend. It's a gift for me to play his character both as an actor and a singer. It's a huge pressure as well, but as we say, it's a sweet burden, since he is a figure of the Hungarian history whom I can identify with very well. It's not an easy role because he represents values that maybe not all, but many of us strive to acquire during our lives. I do hope that I will be able to pass the message on successfully, which he represented with his life and his actions as well, Tamás Vereb said. The musical plays between 1937 and 1960. The story starts from Puskás being 10 years old when he signed to his first team. The director highlighted that the play is a tribute worthy to the legend. Ferenc Puskás is the most famous Hungarian, a character in our lives who is deserving to put on the show in theater. It's very important. It is a story of a hero, and if I had to phrase it shortly, I would call the musical a large-scale psychology because we will play it on a huge stage, fulfilling every requirement of a musical. There will be many dancers and a great visual. However, I still feel that this is a deep psychological story about a man who lived in Hungary and rests a couple of kilometers away from here, the director explained. The pre-show will be performed on August 20th in the RECLASSIFIED Theatre, as this date marks the first time Ferenc Puskás played in the Hungarian national football team 75 years ago.
In his will, tile stove master Antal Fruman left his house and workshop to the János Santos Museum. Those interested can see the artist's works on display at the exhibition entitled The Warmth of the Home. The Stove Museum in the Fruman house is unique of its kind. The stove workshop can be seen in its original design, while visitors can enjoy the exhibit presenting the history of the stove craft in GYÖR in a master's refurbished residential building. Hortobágy is one of Hungary's UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The vast area of plains is home to the coexistence of traditional animal husbandry and natural grassland vegetation. Those interested can see and visit a great number of attractions here, such as the 9-arched bridge, the traditional inns, or the native Hungarian domestic animals. Visitors can also enjoy the national park that is home to wild horses, wolves, and vultures that once inhabited the whole of Hortobágy. And that's all for now, but we'll be back tomorrow night at around the same time, and you can catch Hungary Reports online as well. Please stay tuned for our German, Russian, and Chinese language news. Thanks for watching. Take care. Good night.